Well, it's another nice cloudless blue sky day here in North Wales, and we're going to take the opportunity to do some sightseeing around the spectacular areas of North Wales. I am presently located on the base at RAF Valley on the Isle of Anglesey, just off the north coast of North Wales. RAF Valley is an active RAF station and is home to one of the country's air-sea rescue operations with helicopters. It was at Valley that Prince William did his helicopter training and actually served as an active search and rescue pilot for a period of time in the RAF. I'm going to start by taxiing out to the runway and taking off in a northerly direction, and then heading slightly northwest to the port of Holyhead. So the aircraft has been fueled, we have had all of the pre-flight checks made, and we're ready for takeoff. So we begin by taxiing out to the main runway and heading north. Before heading directly to Holyhead, we'll make a little overfly of RAF Valley, get a feeling for its location on the island, and as you can see, it's located very close to the coastline. We're heading out now towards the main road, which is the A55, and if we follow that, that will take us directly to the port of Holyhead. As we fly, behind the aircraft are the hills and mountains of Snowdonia, and we shall be flying around those beautiful mountains shortly. We are approaching Holyhead. This is a major port for the ferry services between North Wales and Ireland. There are two main routes. One is from Holyhead to Dunleary and the other from Holyhead to Dublin. And over recent years, a number of cruise ships have taken to calling into Holyhead to give access to the Snowdonia mountain range. So we shall now make a left turn, head back towards Valley, and then slightly southeast towards the Menai Straits and the Menai Bridge. So, overflying Holyhead. RAF Valley, now just ahead and to the right of the aircraft, and if I continue in this direction I should approach the Menai Straits very close to the Menai Bridge. We're now passing over Moultraith Bay, and we are actually heading towards the south-west corner of the island. I have turned slightly right off my original. The stretch of water that separates the Isle of Anglesey from the mainland of Wales is the Menai Straits. There are two bridges which allow access across the straits: the original Menai Bridge and the new Britannia Bridge. The Menai Straits, of course, reach here the Irish Sea, and the small airport in front of the aircraft now is Caernarfon, used only for light aircraft such as the one we are flying in at the moment. Now turning left over the Menai Straits. The town ahead of the aircraft now is Caernarfon. It's a very large castle at Caernarfon, and that's where the Prince of Wales was invested into that order. Now about to overfly the town of Caernarfon. Menai Straits to the left hand side of the aircraft. So this is the town of Caernarfon. We're now flying over the north coast of the mainland of North Wales, with the Isle of Anglesey on the left hand side of the aircraft and the Menai Straits below us. We'll make a slight left turn here, follow the Menai Straits and overfly the two bridges. The bridge closest to me now is the new Britannia Bridge. We're just overflying the Britannia Bridge now. and the one ahead of the aircraft now is the original Menai Bridge. They're not depicted particularly well in this scenery. The original Menai Bridge is actually quite an elaborate structure. And the large town now ahead of the aircraft is Bangor. Now overflying Bangor, and the North Wales mountain range of Snowdonia to the right of the aircraft. Now I'm going to make a left turn over Bangor, and I'm going to go back towards the Menai Bridge and follow the main road, the A55, for just a few miles, because there is a very famous little place on the Isle of Anglesey, and it has the honour of having the longest name of any place in Wales. In fact, I think in the whole of the United Kingdom. Okay, so we are now above LlanfairPG, Gorgerich, Drobotlwt yn Antisilio, Goch. It's quite a mouthful. It's generally referred to as LlanfairPG because it's a lot easier to say. So once again, we are above the area of LlanfairPG, Gorgerich, Drobotlwt yn Antisilio, Goch. I think there are 27 letters in total in that word. We'll now head back over to the mainland area of North Wales, and we will head up to the beautiful area of Snowdonia. I'm presently flying at around 2,000 feet, and the highest peak here, which is Snowdon, is just over 3,000 feet. So we will be able to fly between the mountains in the valleys, but we will have to do some climbing to get over the peaks. I'm going to head first up the valley of Llanberis. This is known as the Llanberis Pass at the top of the valley, and in the base of the valley is the town of Llanberis. From Llanberis itself is a lovely little narrow gauge steam railway that takes tourists right to the summit of Snowdon. The steam locomotives that undertake this journey are Swiss built, and because of the incline of the mountain, the steam boilers on the locomotives slope towards the front of the locomotive at about 45 degrees. This means that once the locomotive is actually climbing the incline, the boiler becomes horizontal. The lake below us now is Llyn Ogwen, and the Llanberis Valley is the valley to my right. North Wales is very famous for its slate, and all around this area are the remnants of the slate quarries, as you can see below me here, which were once a major industry in this area. Some of the slate was mined from the surface, or quarried from the surface, but much of it was taken from within the mountains. This is a beautiful area. Now we're reaching the peak of Mount Snowdon. There is a footpath all the way up here, along with the steam railway, and it is a very, very popular place. The weather can be very changeable here, however, and many people get themselves into trouble by not taking the right precautions when setting out on the long walk. Now, right at the peak of Snowdon is a very famous cafe restaurant. So we shall now make a gentle turn around the summit of Snowdon, taking a look at the cafe restaurant on its peak. Again, the details of the actual restaurant are not particularly good in this particular scenery package, but right underneath the nose of the aircraft now is where the cafe is located. The Isle of Anglesey now is to the top of the picture, right in the far distance. Now we're heading back towards the valley of Llanfairpg, and the lake in front of me has something rather unusual about it. Built inside this mountain that is now ahead of the aircraft is a hydroelectric power station. It is called Dinorwic. There is no evidence of it from the outside, and the whole thing is built within the mountain. But what is very unusual about it is that a lake was created at the top of the mountain, which is allowed to fall to the lake at the bottom of the mountain through the turbines. That can generate power, and when the power is no longer needed and when the electricity is cheap, largely by buying electricity from the French grid, which is nuclear power, the turbines are reversed and the water from the bottom lake is pumped back up to the top lake. It's quite an engineering feat. You can see just the entrance to the turbine house just below the aircraft now. When the power is required, it can be generated, I believe, within about 10 or 15 minutes of a call for the extra power supply being requested. And now we are at the top lake, which I believe was constructed within the little valleys of the mountain at the top here. And that small lake there provides the power to the turbine hall within the mountain. And as I said previously, can then be pumped back up to act as a reservoir for the next time that the power is required. So this is Dinorwic, and it is located in the Llanfairpg Valley. The lake in front of the aircraft now is Llanfairpg, so we will descend and take a view of the area from a lower altitude. As we descend here, you can see further evidence of the slate quarries in this area. One of the biggest was Menai and we shall venture into that area shortly. The town of Llanfairpg is now behind the aircraft, and this is Llanfairpg. We're now towards the base of the Llanfairpg Pass, which will make a nice flight up the pass. We're now at the top of the Llanfairpg Pass. I'm going to turn towards the west, and we're going to go over to the area of LlanfairPG and Porthmadog. We're now in the LlanfairPG region, and a lot of these mountains here contain slate mining within them. Slate, of course, was used as a roofing material largely throughout Wales. It's become now quite an expensive product. Heading now towards the Porthmadog area, there is another narrow gauge railway here that runs all the way from Porthmadog on the coast up to the slate mine area of LlanfairPG. Very famous railway, again operated by steam, narrow gauge railway. Descending gently now to the Porthmadog area. Beautiful mountains of Snowdonia all around us. Now over Porthmadog. So with that little sightseeing tour of some of the highlights of North Wales and Snowdonia, I shall make my way back over the Snowdonia range and we will land at the airport at Caernarfon. Enjoy the flight. The lake just below the wheels of the aircraft in the distance is actually Trowsfynydd. This had a large nuclear power generation plant until recent years when the plant was decommissioned. I hope you enjoyed that little sightseeing trip over Snowdonia. We're now on our final leg to Caernarfon Airport. The airport is just in front of the aircraft now. You can see that we are at a fairly high altitude here, 4,000 feet, so I shall make a gentle descent towards the Menai Strait, and the aircraft is now at about 10 o'clock as I look at the aircraft nose, and we shall decide on the runway we're going to use for our landing. Caernarfon Airport now, just ahead and to the left of the aircraft. I shall attempt to make a nice gentle circle and take the runway that is running southwest. Passing through 2,000 feet now. Again, a gentle left turn. Make a visual approach to the runway. Menai Straits opening out into the Irish Sea. 1,000 feet. Runway in sight. Begin to extend the flaps. Welcome back to Caernarfon in North Wales. Runway 20. Safely down at Caernarfon. We shall just taxi to our parking area, retracting the flaps as we do so. And thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.